Back at it again, and we got to talk about mainstream media absolutely losing their minds, and we got to call out someone on their threats. Because if this had been a Republican that said what this guy said on national television, there'd be a problem. There'd be a major problem. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive into MSNBC and Eli. I believe his last name is Mistal. I don't know if I'm butchering that, but I think that is his last name. I believe his first name is Eli, though. Let's dive in.
Then the appeals court gives a bulletproof ruling, as Dahlia says, and they still decide to take it up.
What it says is that they are corrupted political actors who act in bad faith. The reason why people like Mark and people like Dahlia seem to have a crystal ball is because they're real, because they're realists, and they understand the court for what it is. And at some point, people in the media, people at home, and people sitting in the White House have to stop pretending that the Supreme Court is some kind of benign, trying to do its best institution, and start to realize that there are 6 Republicans, not conservatives, Republicans on the Supreme Court who view it as their job to help the Republican Party. And until we do something about that, until we take away that power, until we draw the line on them there, they will continue to do this. They will help Trump. They will take away abortion rights. They will end affirmative action. They will liberalize gun rights. They will do all of it until we stop them. And somebody needs to start listening in the higher echelons of the Democratic Party, because we will keep losing every day we allow these 6 Republicans in robes to rule over all of us.
Oh, what do you mean by stop them, Eli? What are you suggesting? Are you suggesting bringing harm to the people of the Supreme Court? Is that what you're saying, Eli? Because that's what it sounded like to me. With your tone and everything, that's what that sounded like. That sounded like a serious threat to me. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Because we have some Democrats, not moderates, on the Supreme Court that see it as their goal and their obligation to ensure that Democrats get their votes. Under every single, I can't even do that with a straight face. I mean, my goodness. Seriously? Really? As if there aren't Democrats on there too? Not moderates. Democrats. All over. See, this began because the Supreme Court is taking up the Trump immunity case now. And so mainstream media has lost their absolute minds. Because what this could potentially mean is that either, one, Trump is immune, which I doubt the Supreme Court is going to rule that way. I highly doubt it, just in my humble opinion. I'm no legal expert, but I highly doubt the Supreme Court is going to rule that Trump is immune. I think they're going to rule that he is not immune. But what this does, other than that, when they eventually rule that he's not immune, is this pushes the trial back even further, which basically ensures that it'll be after the election. And so that's what they want. They want Trump off of the ballot, out of the way, because they know he can't win. And as I stated previously, for a group of individuals who say threat to democracy, threat to democracy, threat to democracy every 2 seconds, it seems like the only ones that are trying to destroy or take away democracy are Democrats. It's them. Because they say that Trump is going to be a dictator, and they use the quote that Trump said where he said, oh, yeah, I'll be a dictator for one day. And he named off like 2 things he was going to do. And then he said, that's it. But they don't acknowledge that he was joking, right? They don't acknowledge that he said for a day, right? They don't acknowledge any of that. They just skip over it and just say, oh, Trump said he was going to be a dictator. Oh, goodness gracious. You know, it's absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But like I said, what they want to do is take away democracy while blaming Republicans while they're taking away democracy. You know, it's like a have you ever seen like a pickpocketer like actually pickpocket someone? Like take something away from someone, how they distract them with something else, right? They'll have their hand over here doing something, and they'll be, you know, taking off the person's watch or reaching in the person's wallet right over here, you know. But hey, look at this hand, look at this hand, look at this hand. They'll be doing this, right? That's what Democrats are essentially trying to do. Look over here, guys. Look over here. It's Republicans. They're trying to destroy democracy while they're trying to actually destroy democracy over here. It's the Democrats. If you truly believe in democracy, Democrats, let the people choose. If the people of America don't want Trump, then the people of America will speak up and say that they don't want Trump in November. But you can't do that, can you? Because you know in your heart of hearts that your guy is going to lose and that the people actually do want Trump. You know that, and we know that. Now, you can't come out and say that because of everything that you've done so far. You would absolutely get mollywopped if you did that. Okay? It's already going to look bad. But you would absolutely be demolished in the election if you came out and admitted the truth, which, hey, I get it. You can't come out and say that. I understand that. All right? You're playing politics here. I get it. But at the same time, you shouldn't be out here completely lying, right? Saying all the, nah, I mean, just, oh man. I want to play this clip to show you just how outlandish this stuff is. Listen to Whoopi Goldberg in The View, man. Just check this out.
Well, the Supreme Court won't hear oral arguments until the end of April. Now, let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything. Yeah. You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
Oh, interesting. I'm glad you suggested that, Whoopi. So now Republicans have a legit reason to say, hey, every Democrat should be thrown in jail. Since you thought it was so funny. So funny. Joe Biden should just be a dictator. It'd be hilarious. You know, we should just throw every Republican in jail. Okay. Remember you said that. I will save this clip. Okay. So when Trump gets back in office, should every Democrat be thrown in jail? Yeah. I bet you'd say no, Whoopi. I bet you'd say no. Watch what you say. I'm just saying. That's a crazy statement to make, which I know you're on the extreme side of things. We understand that. But it's only funny. Y'all remember the saying, it ain't funny when the rabbit's got the gun? You know, the proverbial gun, right? I'm not issuing any threats to anyone. I just want to make that clear before somebody tries to twist my words. It's a phrase, whatever. But you guys get what I mean. Like it's not funny when the BS that you're trying to push gets pushed onto you. It won't be funny. It won't just be a joke. You should just lock all Republicans up. Trump gets in office. Hey, we should lock all Democrats up, especially the ones in mainstream media, the ones that have been spewing out all this BS, for spewing out propaganda to the American citizens and lies. Right? Just lock them up, Trump. Lock up all Democrats. Like, what? That sounds silly, right? But Whoopi Goldberg thinks that type of stuff is funny. Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh. He could throw every Republican in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, he could. I mean, no. This is not a good thing. Because he'd have totally, he could go. What this means is he could do anything.
Yeah.
He could dismiss everybody's debt. Yeah. You know, there's a whole bunch of great stuff that could happen, but let's really look at what this means.
Yeah.
So they're basically kicking the can down the road, though. They're not taking up this case immediately.
Right.
So what's their motivation then? If we all know that they can't do what you just said because of the extreme power that a president would have, what is their motivation for not doing it right away?
Well, unfortunately, some people are saying the motivation is that there are certain conservative justices that have been appointed by Trump that want to help him. And because we know the end result is if this case is not resolved by the time of the election and he, God forbid, becomes the president of the United States, the Justice Department policy is that you cannot indict nor put on trial a sitting president, right? And so it's his get out of jail.
He could throw him in jail.
But it's his get out of jail free card.
No, I'm saying Biden could throw.
Yeah,
See, this is a slippery slope because if they give him this immunity,
what's good for the goose
what I also will say is they're listening to these arguments in April. The end of their term is in June, right? They return again, I believe, in October. The Bush v. Gore case happened real quick. Do you remember that? The Supreme Court knows how to work real fast.
That was the day democracy.
Yeah, I bet you guys would love them to work real fast, wouldn't you? Same thing with these other trials. Oh, let's get it done fast. Get it done fast. Get it done fast. Let's do this. Do this now. Do it now. No. I don't know if any of you guys have ever paid attention to the justice system at all or anything, and anybody that works in it can let us all know why exactly this happens. But there are cases that go on for years. Perfect example. YSL. There's a rapper by the name of Young Thug who Miss Fannie. Okay, yeah, I know Fannie Willis. Yeah, the same chick that's trying to arrest Trump, but actually on trial herself at this point. Which I may make a video on that too, because there's been some new findings in that situation that are absolutely hilarious. She has a case against Young Thug, and I believe Young Thug has been in jail for that trial for 2 years. I'm gonna try to look up an exact date. Let's see. Okay, so he was first arrested on May 9th, 2022. Yeah. And his case isn't over yet. It's 2024 currently. He was arrested on May 9th in 2022 on RICO charges. 2022. It's 2024. So my point is, you have an example right there of cases being stretched out for years, and all of a sudden, because it's Trump, let's now make it chop. Hey, make it snappy right now. I need it done now. Hold on, I thought we treat everyone fairly. The Young Thug get that type of treatment, snappy, quick, fast, in a hurry. Why are you rushing? Hilarious, man. Hilarious.
If you think about the court as the Supreme Court of the United States and a rational actor and a decent one, that was a reasonable supposition, and it just turns out they're not bad. Incremental bit of progress here. The important question here is not whether the Supreme Court is going to decide that Donald Trump and all presidents are immune from prosecution for crimes they committed while they were president. I mean, it would be fully insane for them to actually side with Trump here, right? The conclusion that we can arrive at now based on what they have done without having to wait for the ruling is that they are ensuring that Trump will not face trial. And when they inevitably rule that presidents aren't immune from prosecution after they leave office, what that will tell Donald Trump, if by then he is president, is that he can never leave the office of the presidency. Right. And if he is voted out in 2028, he cannot leave office, and he is willing to he is welcome to commit any crimes he wants to, as long as he is still president, in order to ignore the result of that election and stay in power for life, because otherwise he's going to go to prison when he...
Isn't that hilarious, man? Because didn't they make that threat before? Oh, Trump's going to be a dictator. He's never going to leave office. He's going to get us to World War III. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. It's going to be terrible. And it was actually great. No new wars. He actually left. He walked out under his own free will. Under his own free will. Right? What a shame, man. What a shame. I mean, they are absolutely losing their minds, guys. Absolutely losing their minds. Here's another clip of Eli.
And I read it, and we talked about the calendar. But we invited you on tonight as someone who knows the law, but is not necessarily limited by some of the, shall we say, BS. And so I was curious what you think the Supreme Court is actually doing, not what it's saying it's doing, not what might feature elegant prose at the end of the day in the ruling, but what do you think it's actually doing?
They're trying to make Trump win. The whole point of this ruling is for Trump to win. Ari, remember how, let's say, all of 2022, I came on your program and I screamed and I tore my hair out over how Merrick Garland was moving too slowly to hold Trump accountable before the next election? This is why, because you have to understand what the Supreme Court is really about. I know you like to give your viewers context, so had this on for some context about what the Supreme Court is really up to. Trump was kicked off of the Colorado ballot, right? And around December 20th last year, the Supreme Court spooled up that case and heard that hearing within 45 days on February 8th, all right? Trump was appealed his immunity, Judge Chutkan's immunity ruling, also in the middle of December. Andrew Weissman just pointed out, Jack Smith asked the Supreme Court to hear the case on December 14th. By the time we get to April 22nd, it will be 130 days since they were asked to hear the appeal. So it's 45 days when a ruling could hurt Trump, but 130 days when the delay can help Trump. That is the essence of this Supreme Court. And every single Democrat who is not on board for expanding the Supreme Court and reducing the power of these Republican theocrats in robes is in some way complicit in today's failure.
Excellent.
Oh, let me guess. Clarence Thomas is an extremist. They're all extremists. But my question to you, Eli, would be, so if Democrats expand the court, right, to whatever, let's say they expand it to make it even, okay? Or they expand it, well, you can't make it even. You have to have the tiebreaker. So they expand it so that Democrats have a +1. So what happens when Trump wins? He expands it so that Republicans have a +1, and then we just continually bounce that ball back and forth, continuously on and on and on and on and on. And I'm sure you'll say, well, no, we'll cap it. Well, who gets to decide the cap? And why does that group of individuals, Republican or Democrat, get to decide the cap? Because Democrats started the expansion. Republicans replied to that expansion, right? And so forth and so forth. So who gets to stop it then? Where does it end? It doesn't. It's going to be a revolving loop. Just over and over. Just flip, 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 flip. Until we have 5,000 Supreme Court justices voting on something. Like, it's just going to get absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, that is just the craziest thing ever. And man, I love what Clarence Thomas said in the hearing when he was seeking to become a Supreme Court justice. That clip is absolutely iconic. Check it out.
Some people have been spreading the rumor that perhaps you're going to withdraw. What's Clarence Thomas going to do?
I'd rather die than withdraw.
Yeah.
If they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me.
So you'd still like to serve on the Supreme Court?
I'd rather die than withdraw from the process. Not for the purpose of serving on the Supreme Court, but for the purpose of not being driven out of this process. I will not be scared. I don't like bullies. I've never run from bullies. I never cry uncle, and I'm not going to cry uncle today, whether I want to be on the Supreme Court or not.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. Couldn't have said it any better myself. I'm not going to be scared. I don't like bullies. Bullies don't scare me. You know, there's a quote that I remember. What's his name? Zach Randolph. Some of you might know who I'm talking about. He's a former NBA player. He played for the Memphis Grizzlies with Mark Gasol and Tony Allen and that crew. They had like the good defense a while back. He got into a little bit of a scuffle with DeMarcus Cousins, who some of you may remember. Obviously, these two guys are massive human beings. DeMarcus Cousins is like 6'11", like 290 pounds. Zach Randolph is probably 6'9", 6'10", 270, so massive human beings. And DeMarcus tried to push Zach Randolph around a little bit, or he said something to him. I don't remember if he pushed him or he said something, but Zach Randolph looked at him and he said something to the effect of, "You don't scare me. Where I'm from, we bully bullies. The bullies get bullied where I'm from." Hey, and look, DeMarcus Cousins didn't mess with Zach Randolph after that. I just thought of that moment, when I was watching Clarence Thomas say, "I'm not going to be bullied out of this process." Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Love it. I love it. And these Democrats, like Eli, they are not going to bully us, right? This man literally got on national television and threatened Supreme Court justices. At least it sounded like a threat to me. Y'all can let me know in the comment section if y'all thought it was a threat too. But that first clip, that sounded like a threat. That sounded like a serious threat.
Conservatives, Republicans on the Supreme Court who view it as their job to help the Republican Party. And until we do something about that, until we take away that power, until we draw the line on them there, they will continue to do this. They will help Trump. They will take away abortion rights. They will end affirmative action. They will liberalize gun rights. They will do all of it until we stop them. And somebody needs to start listening in the higher echelon.
Until you stop them. With all the hand motions and the tone of the voice, sounded pretty serious, but who am I? Y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.